we were just talking on the phone, and you know, usually I'm right with the boat, but it had a freak seat, and when it hit, I grabbed this, and it spun. At the same time, I stepped on, this isn't the right fish, but I stepped on this fish and slipped. And when I went like that, I flung around, I hit this side, I flew off the side of the boat, I was kind of upside down, I pushed myself away from the boat, and that probably saved my life right there, because the boat's got the propeller right there. I whistled, I signaled for, you know, I tried to signal for Bobby. I was also screaming, and I had to keep my head above the water. I guess it was about a 2-foot sea, something like that. Just enough, you know.
And he's been on the water all his life, and obviously that's the biggest thing that helped him, is knowing things that the average person wouldn't know, not being on the water. I mean, what's he call it? Set and drift?
Which is basically which way the wind throws you, which way the tide throws you, and which way your actual course over ground is. So I kind of drew a map in my head and draw the lines out, and then I use speed equals distance over time, which tells you you have this far to go, what speed you're going to make, at how much distance it is. And I figured it within probably an extra 20 minutes, which I didn't think I would make the hour and 40 minutes of spinning it. So when I realized I needed to go another 20 minutes or so, I got a little bit down.
Well, I'm gonna tell you what, because somebody said something about it being tough. I said that was one thing that kept me. Of course, I kind of went back and forth at a time like that. You kind of get a little negative, and you want to stay positive, and so I kind of went back and forth emotionally. You know, there's no way he could make it. You know, as more time went by, and then he said, no, he's gonna make it. He's tough and he's smart.
Didn't feel like I was gonna make it, you know. And I went down to the bottom, and it seemed like it was a ways down, and I took water in, and I see the glory in my head, you know, and I got a kick, you know, I just got a kick. I kick up and I throw all this out, and throw it all up, and started swimming. I just made up my mind. I stopped thinking about what I was feeling and just keep going. And I decided to push one more time, and I was drinking a lot of salt water, and I know what that does to you. It makes you start to hallucinate, you know. And I kept picking something out when I would pop out, and I saw it was a dock. And I said, well, you're hallucinating, don't pay any attention, stay your course. You know, so I kept kicking my course. So I had all but given up, and I decided to make one more push, and I just was barely moving my arms, and it was starting to get where I was kind of crawling with my feet, and my foot touched sand. And I thought to myself, you know, you have hills everywhere. If it's 3 foot in diameter, I'm gonna live. I can stand on it long enough to give myself a little rest. And it was land. And it took about 5 steps, and I realized I was gonna make it. And you know, I kept walking. It actually took me what seemed like forever just to get up to the land. I was so exhausted at that point.
He made it to Henderson Point. Now, he was talking about houses at first. And he said those driveways seem like a mile long to get to a house over there. He said, so I'm having to go down these mile-long driveways and can't get anybody anywhere. And I don't know how many houses he went to until he went to those condos. And I think it's the condos is where he actually pulled the fire alarm.
The punchline is I couldn't find any help, so I went into this condominium place down there, and I pulled the fire alarm, and that's how I got water, because I needed water.
The first time we knew he was alive was that a lot of commotion, and so we all knew something. Everybody starts running that way to hear what the information was, and they said somebody pulled a fire alarm, and it was Mitchell Sevel. So
they heard it on the scanner. Sorry, it's okay.
I'm not even sure how they got that information. But to hear his story from that point, it's like he comes here, he's wrapped in yellow plastic.
Something actually tugged on my shorts, and I let them have it. So when I landed on the beach, I was naked. That was really nice. I would like it somewhere in this little thing for you to say, I love my mother very much. My dad's always been my driving force. He always taught me, he was this tall. He was a Purple Heart winner in the military. He never let me use the word can't, and it looked pretty can't from where I was standing. But she's the reason I'm alive. There's no way I'd have fought so hard if it wasn't for her.
But nobody had hope of him making it all that time. It's just unbelievable.
Something told me this is not the last day for me.